Hey Dino Dudes, what's going on? It's me, the Meteoraptor, and welcome back to Marvel May. Yes guys, it is Marvel May still, and tonight I'm going to take a look at the 2012 Marvel, movie, and it's one that actually I've gotten a few requests for. That movie is The Amazing Spider-Man. This is the first one, not the second one. I do not own the second one yet. I've been meaning to... I might pick up the second one, I might not. Despite what I said during the first one, you guys, the second one is actually not that good. Really, I watched it again and really kind of thought about it, and really, it isn't that good. So I don't really remember my review from last year when I reviewed the second one. If you guys do, I might re-review the second one actually for Marvel May this year, just because I'm not trying to be lazy. It's just, I've kind of run out of Marvel movies to review, because I've reviewed the Avengers, I've reviewed both Avengers, I've reviewed, I could do the X-Men movies, but I'm kind of saving those for a different time. But, you know what, I'm just gonna, screw what I just said. Let's talk about The Amazing Spider-Man. First off, Spider-Man was actually the first superhero I ever actually heard of. Well, some people may have got introduced to superheroes through Batman or Superman or Captain America. It was Spider-Man for me, and that's because I actually grew up watching that really old Spider-Man cartoon, the one that plays on Teletoon Retro. Or Cartoon Network Retro, I think, if you're in America. I'm not American, I'm Canadian. Yeah, go Canada. But it was like the really, really old one, like maybe the late 60s one. And I didn't watch the live-action TV show of it, though. So I had a good knowing of who Spider-Man was, and I have seen the Spider-Man trilogy. I should probably review those, actually. Then again, I just sold most of them the other day, because I was tired of them. Forget it, I'll figure this out later. Just... Okay, Raptor, focus. Focus! Reviewing The Amazing Spider-Man. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm really distracted. For a movie that comes right out in the title and says, The Amazing Spider-Man, on the back there, if you can read it, it actually says... The best Spider-Man yet? For a movie that claims that has amazing in the title, it really is just meh. Don't get me wrong, there are amazing things about this movie, but there are also really bad things with this movie, and I would not say this is the best Spider-Man movie. The best Spider-Man movie, this thing nearly tops my favorite Spider-Man movie, that being either the original Spider-Man 2. But it just, number 2 is, I don't know why, I liked it more than this one. Don't get me wrong, I liked this movie, I thought it was a halfway good movie, but there were still problems with it. I do want to touch on the good things first, though. I'm just gonna come out and say it, Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone. Andrew Garfield is the best Peter Parker / Spider-Man I have seen in any movie or comic or TV show ever. He is the best Spider-Man. He did a fantastic job. And so did Emma Stone playing Gwen Stacy, who, by the way, I like a lot more than Mary Jane. Why? Because Gwen Stacy originally died in the comics, and that was a huge thing, because back then in comic time, people didn't die, really. It was rare, it would be parent deaths, but the main character's girlfriend, that was, especially for Spider-Man at the time, that was very shocking to some people. Now it's a lot more common, but back then comics weren't as dark as they are today. Yeah, anyhow, Emma Stone and Andrew Garfield, the thing that works the absolute best about them is their chemistry. They work so well together, and you can feel a human connection with them. And they just seem like nice people. And everyone else does a fantastic job, other guys like Ryan Ifans, Dennis Leary. That's who it was! Wow, I've been trying to figure out who that guy was for so long. It was Dennis Leary. What do you know? Dennis Leary does a great job. All the other actors do a really good job. Like, nobody does a really bad job aside from the occasional character who has one line, and it's like they just didn't really feel like they needed to retake it because it would just be totally pointless. Like, the acting is great. The special effects are amazing. Like, those are probably that's probably, if not for the acting, the effects are probably the best part in this entire movie. The music is, the music's good, you know, it kind of has a cool, like, fight soundtrack. I thought the soundtrack to the second one was better, but dubstep is getting kind of old, so I don't listen to it much more. You guys have probably noticed I've been dodging the most important factor. Writing. They had so much potential to make what could have been the best Spider-Man yet. But Sony, they screwed themselves over. Because they did something that they didn't need to do. And that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles did that they didn't need to do. And that Man of Steel and the Dark Knight trilogy are excused because it's been so long. And it was like a new take on them. But look, my big two examples for what I'm about to kind of complain about is this and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, that 2014 one that people tend to hate. I thought it was actually kind of fun. Check my other review for it. We know the story. You don't have to waste literally about... Dang, I'm bad at this part. Why don't they ever put the... Okay, screw it. You don't have to waste more than 2/3 of this movie's runtime trying to show us how Peter Parker is this awkward nerd. He gets bitten by a spider. He gets spider powers. His uncle dies. We know this. Anybody who knows anything about comics knows that Peter Parker's uncle died because it is the most recognizable father figure death in comic history. Sorry, Batman, but this one's just more powerful because I saw before I saw you. It is the most recognizable. It's the most known and probably the most cliched thing now about superheroes is their parents have to die. But if I was going to talk about that, I could be here for another half an hour. See, the big problem that this movie had was it had to retell the origin story of Spider-Man. And okay, fine. New company, new actors, new writers, new directors. I understand if you want to try and give us a brief summary. If you were going to make this thing, if you were going to take Spider-Man's origin story in a movie which came out in 2012, long after the original Spider-Man trilogy, which was the first time Spider-Man had been big budget brought to the big screen, so that made more sense to actually give us his backstory, because it was his first movie appearance. That's why those films get grace and this doesn't. You could spend maybe 20 minutes. Like, honestly, if you had just taken 20 minutes instead of, I'm not making this up, it's the whole movie's it's at 2 hours and 16 minutes. If you literally had not taken like an hour, it felt like an hour and 45 minutes of just setup and just had Spider-Man take on the Lizard, who I will touch on in a minute, this movie would have been so much better. But this is a big problem that Hollywood needs to learn. We don't need to know the origin stories of characters we already know. Now, I'm going to kind of contradict what I just said, and now for the upcoming films of stuff like The Flash, Cyborg, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, which I'm actually all excited for, we could have their origin stories there. Heck, even the Deadpool movie can give us his origin. You know why? Because it'll be the first time that those characters actually appeared in a live-action movie. Except for Wonder Woman, because that'll be Batman vs. Superman, which I'm totally psyched for. But I'm getting ahead of myself there. And who knows, I might waste time talking about her backstory. And I don't know her backstory. She's not as well known as other superhero characters. But Spider-Man, everyone knows his story. And you wasted so much time trying to retell what we already know. So Hollywood, if you're gonna take a superhero character that has already had a movie before, you don't have to waste half the movie explaining his backstory. You can give us 10, 20 minutes max, and boom, we're good. Iron Man, it got that perfectly. We had about maybe half an hour of when he was in Afghanistan and all that, building the suit, yada yada yada. Then boom, he's Iron Man, he's flying around, he's blowing stuff up. It was amazing. This thing, we have about 45 minutes of him just not even having his spider powers, and him being bullied at school, and him being very awkward about life, like... And the thing that sucks is I love Spider-Man. This is probably the best version of Spider-Man as a character I have ever seen. He is so human. He is so down to earth. That's why he worked so well in this. But we don't need to see his story for the 500th time. Okay? Okay, I'm sorry. And as for the bad guy, some people are going to complain. One of the complaints I actually had now is Amazing Spider-Man 2 had too many bad guys. This thing had the Lizard. Nothing against the Lizard, he looked awesome and his story worked in this movie. You could have thrown in like the Green Goblin in this movie and it totally would have worked. If you had thrown in like just another small, not as well known character, it would have worked, you guys. The Lizard, he's not really even Spider-Man's best known enemy, so like, why did you guys like just make it so his first movie, like the first movie in years, is gonna have him? He was a good villain, he served the purpose, but I didn't really... Yeah. And the sad thing is, actually, you guys, thanks to how it should have ended, they pointed out very directly that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and The Amazing Spider-Man, they're the exact same movie. Don't believe me, go watch their video, and it will make so much sense. Anyhow, moving on, so the writing really wasn't that good. I talked about everything else. The camera work, it can be kind of shaky, but it's still good. The lighting is good, aside from a few times when they're like on a bridge or something I had a hard time seeing, but I think they were going for that. And... yeah. So when it comes down to it, can I recommend The Amazing Spider-Man? Yeah. Pretty much. It's not the worst Spider-Man movie I've ever seen. That one probably will still stay with Spider-Man 3. No, probably The Amazing Spider-Man 2, because Spider-Man 3 at least had Venom. If you're really into Spider-Man or superhero movies, then go ahead and watch it. But if you want to watch a good Spider-Man movie, go watch Sam Raimi's first two of them. The third one I would pass on unless you like bad movies, which is kind of a reason why I liked it. But overall, it's just a mediocre summer movie. The only reason I have the Blu-ray of it is because I got it for $3. So, I didn't feel that bad. And watch this one, do not watch the sequel. The sequel is absolute garbage, and I've realized that now after I put up that review. Click here if you want to watch that review and see how horribly wrong I was. Yeah. But, screw it, that's in the past. And you guys, this is the Meteor Rapper saying, until next time, Dino Dudes, keep cool, and I will see you guys around. Later.